John Twig. Thanks for tuning in. It's hockey season, and today, depending on when you're watching, we have the Campbell River Storm team here. We've got play-by-play man Warren Andrews. Thanks for coming in, Warren. And the captain, Jordan Rauser. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we were going to have the coach, too, and the general manager, Lee Stone, but he got called away. But fortunately, Warren has been with the team for 13 years.
13 years. Seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, it's like a Clint Eastwood movie.
Well, it's pretty good this year. 9-0 start, and then last night, that's a story. What happened last night, Jordan?
Last night we went into West Shore. We tied 5-5. We didn't have the start that we wanted to, and they got a couple of early goals. We thought that we would win that game, and we ended up with a tie. So it was a tough night, but I think there's always another game, and we'll be ready for the next one.
So you're still undefeated.
We're 9-0-1. We would like to be 10-0.
I guess that's still first place in the division.
It would be first place in the league, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get some background. The team has been, is it all 13 years?
Well, it's been since 1997. The team,
it
was Ed Kingston. I think Dennis McRoberts brought the franchise in, and I mean they got off to an incredible start.
Yeah.
Championships in 7 straight years, 9 straight finals, and a couple of Western Canadians in there, and some BC championships. And I mean, it was quite the run there for about 9-10 years.
Yeah. So this is Junior B,
Junior B,
the Vancouver Island Junior Hockey League. So it's been around longer than 97, I would think.
Oh, it's since I think 1962. You had like the Oak Bay Gulls, and the Saanich Braves have been essentially in since the league began. They're one of the cornerstone franchises of the league, and they've won 7 championships like we have. That's the best in the league with 7.
So is there a possibility of moving up to Junior A, and if so, what would that entail?
It's going to entail the city building an arena like Port Alberni did of about 2,500, 3,000 seats before I think the BCHL would look at that. And then you also need an owner with incredibly deep pockets, because the BCHL is not a money-making venture. You need someone that loves the game, doesn't mind losing some coin because there's extensive travel, overnight stays.
Well, that's what I was going to quiz the general manager on, but since you know the stuff, let's get in there. How many seats at Brindamore Arena?
Unofficially or officially?
Well, number of seats, and then I'm sure there's...
I think officially there's probably about 950 official seats.
Yeah.
I remember when we hosted the World Under-17 Hockey Championships, and I remember coming to a game with Quebec and Russia playing each other, and there were 1,400 people. I'm sure the fire marshal would disagree with me, but there were 4 rows of standing room deep. I went up to the mezzanine behind the goaltenders where they have the beer gardens now, and it was packed with literally about 100 Junior A and WHL Quebec League scouts, and I could barely find actually to climb up a little bit to actually watch the action. So 1,400 is, I think they could squeeze that in there if the fire marshal turned a blind eye.
But that makes the, well, how many games in the season?
There's 48.
48 games. So like the economics of the team, how much does it cost for a ticket? And then I guess season's tickets.
$10 for a ticket if you're an adult, a bit cheaper if you're a senior or a student, of course kids even less. And then savings, I think it's under $200 for 24 regular season games plus 2 exhibition games. So it's one of the best bargains in town. I mean, you can't even go to the movies for that. You get to cheer on your hometown team every Friday night.
Well, I've on occasion wanted to go, when I drive by, you can't even find a parking spot. So is it sold out virtually every game?
We definitely have the best fans in the league. I'd say we average about 900, 850 fans a game. I think that our fans in town are great, and they support us winning or losing, and you can't ask for much more as a junior hockey player.
Do you play on a regular night, like every Wednesday, or? Generally,
we would have our home games on Friday and Sunday. Each team varies on which nights theirs are. Nanaimo's are Thursdays, Victoria's are Thursdays, Comox's are on Saturdays. So it depends on the team, but ours are generally Friday and Sundays.
So this is Wednesday when we're recording. You played Tuesday in West Shore, is that?
Generally theirs is on a Wednesday. It was just a scheduling error, so we had to play them on a Tuesday this week. And then this week on Friday we play Kerry Park at home.
It was, now West Shore, is that Parksville or?
No, that's Victoria. It's like the Bear
Oh.
Mountain area, Juan de Fuca
Oh.
area. Yeah.
Well, that's a good example because the costs, I mean, Warren, you're talking about the owner with deep pockets. What have you got, 30 kids on the team counting spares, I guess?
I guess we have 24 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the travel, let alone the equipment.
Yeah, it's not cheap, that's for sure. Each player's got to pay his league fees, his team fees,
Billet fees if you're
billet
out of
fees.
town.
Yeah. I mean, some guys are paying a pretty penny to play here, but at the end of the day, this isn't the end game, right? A lot of guys want to go on to school and they want to play higher levels of junior. So it's a stepping stone, and I think that's what they get into.
Dumb question. I had a cheap sheet down here. Are players paid?
No.
You
Well,
pay to play.
Yeah.
At the Western
Literally.
Hockey League level, actually, you are paid a small stipend, and from what I understand, you actually make a little more if you win more games than you lose. So, but it's very small, and what that does is, if you play in the Western Hockey League or Ontario Hockey League or Quebec Major Junior League, you can't go to U.S. colleges on a scholarship. They consider that professional, even though it's not. So that's why they'll go to BCHL like Nanaimo Clippers, because you don't get paid anything regardless of how you do, and you can get a scholarship by going that route instead. So if you think you can make it to the next level, to be in the show in the NHL, WHL with your Vancouver Giants, Victoria Royals, that's your best option. But if you want that education and you think it'll be a slower route, you go to the BCHL.
Well, I think we're going to be jumping around here a bit. But you got 9 local kids on the team, and you're one of them, grew up here.
Yeah.
And your brother's on the team too?
Yeah, my little brother, he's a 17-year-old. His name's Gavin. He actually played on the team last year as a 16-year-old. And yeah.
And you say your little brother, I'm guessing he's about 6 foot 180?
He's about that size, yeah. I call him my little brother, but I guess they should be calling him my younger brother, yeah.
Is there fighting? I guess there obviously is.
Yeah, there's a one fight in a game gets you kicked out of that game. 3 fights in a season gets you a 1-game suspension. So yeah, there definitely is some fighting. I think it's something that myself personally I think is needed in the game. But other people have their varying opinion on that.
Yeah.
John, if I could jump in with the local players, it's kind of been neat for me because I've been doing this line of work for a long time in town, and seeing guys like Jordan and Gavin playing. I remember Gavin is, I think, the captain of his Pee Wee or Adam team that was very successful, and it's neat to see these kids when they come in their little hockey jerseys watching the Storm player. Now they're the big kids, and they kind of got that sense of what the franchise means and what that logo means, and they play with a little extra purpose. I mean, the out-of-town guys are great, but when you've got a kid like Dane Feeney who could be playing Junior A and dominating, coming back wearing that jersey, it's a special thing this year.
You're representing your town, right? Where you grew up and where you're from. So a lot of people that are from town, they know how much this town means to them, and they want to do the best for their town.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of good things happening in Campbell River, and I guess we can say hockey's one of them. The injuries and the costs, like, do you get medical coverage if you hurt a knee?
You're insured by BC Hockey.
Okay.
So a lot of guys, the injury I see most is facial, guys losing teeth, things like that. And then your dental's covered by BC Hockey. So at least that's a cost you don't have to worry about. Yeah. We would definitely get some insurance.
Yeah. And jumping around a bit, sorry about that, but I saw a little item. The Ontario Hockey League is bringing in mandatory mental health training
It's good.
after a suicide by a player, cut for disciplinary reasons.
Well, you know what? I think they need to, because if you even go just the last few years, they've really been addressing everything from concussions and what that's done. And you have your enforcers, and they've had probably 3 or 4 enforcers that have passed away, sadly. And the concussions ended up with them having addiction problems and mental health issues. And I think it's such a unique thing to be an athlete, especially in the spotlight, because people put you on a different pedestal, just like if you're an actor or if you're a politician. they think of you as different. They don't think of you as human. And so you've got to adjust your life to that. You're treated differently. You go into a restaurant, maybe the bill gets paid for. The opposite sex will swoon at you a little bit more. It's a different lifestyle.
You know, you're talking kind of the pro NHL level, but does
You know,
that happen?
even at the junior level, you've got your Uber fans, and I mean, as you move up levels and the competition gets better, you've still got people that love what you do and they'll treat you differently. I mean, I'm sure you even have friends that have played at other levels, Jordan. that can
Yeah,
attest to that.
there's definitely a lot of people. I know a guy that played in the Western Hockey League, and he said for the first month he didn't pay for a meal when he went to a restaurant.
Yeah.
So
I got a curveball for you. You ever been hit on by a cougar? And I'm not talking about the Victoria.
we'll keep that one. Our next question.
Warren, I saw your quick snappers.
Oh,
thing
the
you do.
rapid fire, yes.
Yeah. And the one, was it you that didn't know who the premier was?
I passed on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He since knows, I think, now.
Yeah, I definitely looked it up. So, but yeah, at the time it caught me off guard. That's for sure.
Well, Christy, if you're watching.
You better do some more work.
Now, you're doing very well this year. How much of it is because you got a really hot goalie?
We've got a very good goalie named Joey Carr. He's been lights out for us. We couldn't ask for much more from him. He's a big part of the reason we're winning, but it's not all about him. We've got a lot of really talented players, hardworking players who are leaving it out there every night. They're trying to do everything they can, and I think that's the reason that we're winning games, because everybody's giving it everything they got, and we're just outworking teams.
It's a good team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Well, what makes this team unique, and I mean, I'm going back to 2002 when they were at the height where they didn't lose a game at home. They went 24-0 at home, that team did, and I think they lost 2 or 3 games all year. What makes this team very special, even more than that team, is how deep they are. They've got 7 defensemen they can dress that are as good or better than the other team's guys. They can throw out 4 lines, and their bottom line might be almost as good as the other team's top line. So it's a real struggle for opposing coaches to know, well, if I put this guy on this guy, these guys are going to burn me. So you add that in with a couple of great goalies, because Chima's come in and been amazing as a backup too. And they're a tough team to play. Their biggest adversary is themselves. In the first period, they don't come in mentally sometimes. They spot teams' leads. It's almost like they're playing with them, and then they battle back. So they're exciting. The fans, I've never heard so many fans leaving the building on a Friday night consistently with a smile on their face. These are guys that have been there for 15, 17 years. They're smiling. They're loving life. They're loving the way the team plays, and it's exciting to have that.
I relate to that with the Canucks. I'm a Canucks fan. And sometimes the team chemistry is really good. And then some years, like with a bad coach, look at the difference. Yeah.
You look at that team that went to the Stanley Cup Finals. They were just so deep, and they had so many different players that worked well with other players, and they just dominated other teams. And other teams thought they had a chance to win, and every night the Canucks came in and they just showed them that they were the best team.
Yeah, teamwork in a team sport.
Yeah. I
want to get back a bit to the composition of the locals versus the imports. When the team started, was it all locals? Like way back?
No, they brought with Ed Kingston. For those that have been longtime fans, know who Ed is. A little bit of a bald on his head, big man, big burly voice, and he had connections everywhere. I remember Mike Rushton, who's been involved with the team forever, involved in Rotary too. He would laugh and he'd tell me, Warren, I'd get a phone call from Eddie at 3 p.m, telling me to get out to the airport because they just shipped some kid in from Quebec. I didn't even know what the kid's name was. He says that evening he's on the ice scoring 2 goals. So they've always had used to be the Quebec pipeline, they called it, but kids from the States have come up, and Alberta and local kids all meshed together.
Yeah. So are the local kids the heart of the team, or is it just the group cohesiveness? Because I'm sure you've had imports for like 2 or 3 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you know the nice thing, I mean, you can attest to this, I'm just going to touch. The kids that have been here for a year or 2, your Colin Blakes, Josiah Friesen, they feel like they've grown up here in Campbell River because they get it. They know, and when the new kids come in, take them under their wing too. And I'm sure for the new guys coming in, you guys want to make them feel as comfortable as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to show the newer guys what Campbell River is all about. It's a blue-collar town, people that work really hard, and I think that's why these kids are on our team, because they fit that mold a little bit. So I don't think it's any one player or group of players that makes a team. I think the team as a group defines itself.
Yeah, good point.
And I think that's what we're doing right now.
Now the billet issue, how does that work, and how many, and Like, are you still at home?
I'm still at home. Yeah, I live
Yeah.
with my parents and my brother. We have one billet at our house.
Oh, nice.
So I mean, everyone tries to take someone if they can. We have a lot of really good billets who step up and they'll take 2 kids into their home, and they'll be very generous with them. And I think we're very blessed in that nature.
How does the money work? Like, do they bill it for free, or does the team help? Or?
It costs $400 a month.
And the parents of the billet pay it, correct? Is that right?
Parents of the player?
Of the player.
Yeah. The money goes directly to the billet, and most of that's probably just going to go to the food more than anything.
Yeah. What's important with the billets is on more than a hockey level even, and this goes for kids that have moved up. We've got a kid named Carson German that went on and played for the Flames for a little bit, and he's still in contact with his billet family in Kelowna because they become your family. These kids are moving away from home at 14, 15, 16.
Yeah.
They're still young men, and they need guidance, and they need somewhere to feel comfortable, and that's what these billets provide.
Yeah, it's a home away from home is what it essentially turns into.
So are most of the players on the team, I was going to say kids, but are they aiming for a hockey career, or are they, this is fun and they're going to go into academics?
I think for myself personally, I'm looking into getting a scholarship this year. That's my goal. That's probably my end game. But we have a lot of younger players who are very talented, who will definitely play higher levels at junior, and some of them will probably play professional hockey or Division I hockey in the NCAA. I think a lot of the kids on our team have the potential to do great things.
Yeah.
And Lee Stone, the general manager and coach, he is connected with the Arizona State University. He's connected with the Alberni Valley Bulldogs. He's got a lot of connections through the hockey world, which you need outside of being a great coach.
Yeah.
Hockey's a small community, and you need those connections. So.
Yeah. And there's an ex-player, Clayton Stoner, who is now playing D for the Anaheim Ducks. And his nickname, well, I don't know if his nickname is Stoner, but the general manager's nickname is Stoner. Any relation?
No relation at all. And anything, he was 15 when he started, but he's a big kid out of Port McNeil.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to see him for too much, but he was a man at the age of 15 and 16. He went on to play in the Western Hockey League, American League, and now he's 4 or 5 years and just signed a very big contract with Anaheim. So,
but he's an ex-Storm too?
He's the one alumni we have that has played professionally in the NHL. We've had a number of Thais, the minor hockey kids that have gone, Chris Fredham and Carson German, but he's the only one that has worn a Storm jersey that's moved on.
And Willie Mitchell.
Willie's another North Island kid,
He did fairly well, eh?
He's still playing.
Just got named captain of the Florida Panthers the other day.
Really?
Yes, he did.
I thought that one of the worst things the Canucks did was not keep him, because when I remember the playoffs when Vancouver was playing in Minnesota and Willie was in Minnesota, he shut down Bertuzzi. And yet they didn't pay him the buck to keep him here.
And now he's won 2 cups in 3 years with LA, so I'm sure he's not regretting his decision leaving Vancouver.
But, I'm sorry, this isn't Storm stuff, but I think one of the major problems the Canucks have had is a shortage of BC players. They got a few now, but, like Sakic grew up in Burnaby.
Yep.
They didn't get him.
Nope.
And it's Steve Nash.
Well, they had a great one, Cam Neely, and they traded him away because they didn't like the way he was playing or his injuries, and wanted to be one of the greatest wingers maybe in the history of the game if he would have stayed healthy.
Yeah. Now, how about a website? Does the team have a website?
Yeah, it's crstorm.com.
Okay, so that's easy. What kind of information is there?
They do a really good job of it now. I mean, you've got your pictures of all the players and their information, the staff. They do updates on there. They'll film kind of a recap quickly on YouTube, put it on there. There's a lot of information up there, and we've got additional ones. I mean, I've got a blog, and I mean, the newspapers will cover the team too. So there's a lot of options on the way the team's getting covered.
Yeah. Now, the team is a community asset in a number of ways. I mean, the economic activity, there's obviously some job creation. But I have a bit of a story. I was going to try and have the lady, Helen Whitaker from the seniors on at the end of this show for 5 minutes, but for various reasons, we didn't do that. But anyway, in talking about her with that, she says, "Oh, the Storm, they helped us move out of the community center." So the whole team apparently was hoisting this big, heavy billiard table out.
Yeah. We've done
Were
a
you
lot
there?
of things in the community. Last year we helped build a fence for, I don't remember what the group was. I think it was something to do with the community center. We try our best to get out in the community and help out whenever we can. We know that we're looked at as borderline icons in the city, so we try our best to get a good image out and help
Is
out.
that a team thing or a league thing, or?
I think it's more of a team thing. I don't know about other teams in the league that do the things that we do around the community. We just know that we want to help as much as we can. Obviously, we can only do so much, but we definitely try and help.
Now, the team was at Quality Foods packing groceries the other day. What was that about?
That was just us. We were just trying to get our name out there a little bit, and just try and show the community support a little bit.
But the blonde-haired kid who was wearing number 1 is not the Joey, the star goalie.
No, I don't think that was Joey.
Unless he's wearing a wig, which, that's his thing.
Yeah.
One neat thing that they do charity-wise was a lot of fun. There's the teddy bear toss, which is right around Christmas. And so when the first goal is scored by a Storm player, all the teddy bears come raining on the ice, and I believe you guys take them to the hospital, and it's not just children, it's actually some seniors that get teddy bears because they might be lonely and haven't seen their family for a while, and it's just a neat way of connecting with you guys. And
it's just
feeling
something
loved.
it's just something we do to let people know that we're here, and we're always there to help if we can, and so it's just something we like to do. It makes us feel really good about ourselves too.
Now, relations with the Strathcona Regional District, which I guess owns the arena. How's that going?
I think it's fine. I mean, I know it was a little tense there for a while. There was a bit of standoffishness just because, from what I understand, and I'm not completely in the know, but
Well, you're a journalist.
is that the league fees the Storm were paying were significantly higher than a number of other teams were paying to their regional districts. And with the asset the Storm were, I think the ownership wanted more of a fair deal. And I believe through some of the councillors in town, a deal was reached which was amicable for
Did
both
that
parties.
relate to the pulp mill closure when all of the taxes went sky high?
You know what, you've got me, but I'm sure that everything is tied into that, isn't it? Because that was the biggest money maker for the city, hands down, and that got taken away.
Was that a factor in the team ownership change? The fees at the arena?
No, I think originally when Ed and Dennis owned it, they're both getting older in age, and they sold it back to Mike Feeney and Mike Rushton, and then they sold it on to Jim Revenberg, and now it's the Spooners. Just a matter of who's got the time, who's got the financing at the time, and who's got the passion.
I see ads in the paper now. It just coming to be K&L Spooner.
Yes, it's Kevin and Linda Spooner's construction company. So that's the company that makes the money that helps support the hockey team that this community loves.
They're not making profits on the Storm. Maybe if they break even, they're doing well.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I'm sure there are ways they could do it if they scrimped and saved and you guys were eating bag lunches that you packed yourselves on the buses. But when you think about it, you're paying for a driver and a bus to go as far away as Victoria. We're one of the furthest communities, obviously, the most northern part. You're paying for meals there, meals back for the kids. You're paying for ice time for the players. You pay for the dressing room. I don't believe you guys own the dressing room. It's yours.
We rent it from the arena.
So you're paying fees for that too.
Yeah.
You're paying fees left, right, and center. It is not a cheap endeavor. You need people that love hockey and love the kids.
How's the new Zamboni?
I think it's going pretty good. Although, what was it, last year in the playoffs, they did have an issue with it. A game lasted about an hour and a half longer because the Zamboni broke down and actually melted all the ice on the corner. So they had to run down to one of the box stores to get some solvent thing to freeze it again to finally get the play moving. So you get that. Oceanside, I remember doing a game there, and the Zamboni melted in the big Howie Meeker arena right in the middle. So they had to flip everybody over to the small arena. I'm calling the game through the glass because there was no room for me there. They're fitting 700 people in 300 seats. So occasionally you get Zamboni issues.
Yeah, wasn't there a story, I think it was in the one of the local papers, but we've now got it's not a fuel, it's an electric.
Oh.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is, but from what I was told, it's an electric Zamboni that's gonna save the arena quite a bit of money on fuel. So I mean, the more the merrier, I guess. Yeah.
You see, I do my homework. There was something else related to that. Oh yeah, the practice times. And all.
So we practice from 2 o'clock till 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
5 days a week? 7 days?
Monday to Friday, depending on when we play. If we have a Friday game, we'll have a morning skate, which will just be about a half an hour long at about 11:30. Yeah. Just to get our legs moving a little bit. We've got our own personal gym. We're very fortunate that we have a gym in the Rauser school. It's actually open to the public as well in the evenings. And we go there every about 3-4 days a week as well. So we're very fortunate with what we have.
Okay, so if somebody wants to listen to the game, where do they listen?
It's fasthockey.com. And so there's a fee that you pay, but it's like watching a televised game.
It's not on 99.7.
No, it's not on 99.7 Today FM. It was on 99.7 The River 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And then the company made a decision. Actually, the company made a decision as a whole to get into more music-based format throughout the entire chain. And so, I mean, they're not doing Powell River King games anymore. I don't think they're doing Cowichan Capitals games. So.
But you're live streaming, basically.
But it's live streaming. It's great. The nice thing is with these passes, too, you can rewind the game. You don't need to wait for the technicians in the truck to rewind it. You can rewind it while the game's going on and watch that goal happen.
Yeah, you can clip your instant replays. You can edit the game so you can watch whichever parts you want.
Is there any television of it? Televising? No.
The last time we had televised was when the old CRTV back in the day would do it with Marjorie producing, and we would tape on Fridays and then show the games on Sundays.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think we're low on time. Is there something that I've not touched that you think we should pass on?
I just think, you know what, if you haven't been to a game for a long time, I encourage you, get out there. It's great family entertainment. Bring the kids to. I know so many people that go to the games and come out and they're blown away. They can't believe the passion these kids play with. It's not that much in terms of finances, and you'll have a great Friday night.
How much does a beer cost in the beer garden?
That I don't, you know what, I haven't enjoyed any beers there yet. I'm always calling the games, but someone wants to bring me one and they'll let it have, probably, $4. I think part of the proceeds to that actually goes to Cameron's cause, or I know it used to in the past.
Yeah, we definitely do some
Charity.
Cameron's cause games where they donate some
they'll
money.
get part of the proceeds. So you're drinking for a good cause, no flack from the significant other.
Okay.
You're helping.
Well, thank you, Jordan and Warren, for coming in, and best wishes on the season.
Thank you very much.
And keep up the good work. Now, just a couple of things. The senior center moving. I was at a seniors meeting yesterday, and they passed it. So the senior center will be moving to the Campbell River Common probably by the end of this month. And we hope to have Helen Whitaker on to talk about that. But that's actually a big story. They had about 70 people out, and it passed virtually unanimously. One person was saying that $51,000 for the seniors to participate in this was a bit high. Well, it's a bargain. So anyway, kudos to them. And also recently we had the snorkeling with the salmon in the Campbell River show. And there'll be some more video going up, I think, on Catherine Temple's website, Go Campbell River. And there's a link to that show, and eventually on this show too, on my website, crnv.com, and there's a link there of all the shows. And of course, Shaw TV North Island has a YouTube channel as well, so you can get all of the Talk About shows there. So, thank you volunteers, especially Lance for coming in today, and Matt and Laura. And thank you for all the producers. Chaz came up especially for it, and Gord for producing, and Marjorie doing sound too. So there's Talk About. Thanks for listening. Tell a friend. Watching. Thank you.